Hi everyone, again we continue with the project. Today I'm going to create a simple table for storing information about teachers. So I have the teacher's ID, the class, in which room number the teacher is usually having the lessons, the name of the teacher, contact number, subject, and picture. You could add a lot of details here like contact number, email addresses, and things like that. But I kept it quite short because we have covered a lot of features when we are doing the students table. The reason I'm creating this table is to show how we can have a relationship between teachers table and students table, and that will help us to create some good queries and reports. In order to save time, I've already entered some data into the teachers table. Just put only four of them. And the next step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a relationship between the two tables. In order to do that, go to database tools, click on relationship. I've already done this before, so I'll just take it off just to show you from scratch. Show table, click the teachers table, add, students table, add and close. There's a relationship connected here between teachers table and students table. Many times it won't be there. If that is the case, in that case you need to see which two fields can be linked. In our scenario, the teacher is in charge of a class, and in every class there could be several students. So I'm going to link between the class and the class. I'll drag this and drop it on the class, and that will help me to create a link between the teacher's class and the student's class. Basically it means that one teacher can have several students. Once I do that, I can create a form just to input the data into the teacher's table. I've already created the form following the same instructions that we did with the students table. So we have a teacher's form here. You can navigate from one record to another. The fields are kept to a minimum so that the process is not repeated. And now I'm ready to create form with subform. And you will see how important it is, especially when you are creating or when you're doing something for a project. In order to do that, I'm going to select blank form, or I can go in for a wizard also and select the teachers table. I want teacher's ID, class, the room number, and teacher's name. These are the only fields I need. I would like to call it student dash teacher dash students. So it just helps me to identify that we have two contents of two tables here. I'm going to the modify because I want to make some changes to the design. So this is how your table is going to look like. Some of the fields are bigger, so I'm going to just reduce the width. Similarly here, you can format it the way you want. You can put it this way if you want, so that you have enough space for the table. Then I go to the design and I look for the tools there, and there's an option which allows me to create a subform. You have to find that icon somewhere. Yeah, this is the one. Done it long back. So click this and make a small area there in the footer, and the wizard kicks in. I'm going to select from existing table or query. So I'll say next. Here I'll go to the students table, and it depends what you want in the students table. So I'll just go for first name, last name, class, division, grade. Yeah, that's it. You could add more fields depending on the situation, but I just kept it to a limited number of fields. Next, just say next and say finish. I'll just show you the form and you'll see how it works. Now, here we have the navigation buttons. The bottom one is for the entire form, especially for the teacher's form, and the one on the top is for the student's form. students' data actually. So if I go from one record to another, you'll see that for each class, it shows me how many students actually belong to that class. It's very useful if you have a large number of students and you want to see all the students allocated to a particular teacher, then this feature is definitely one of the best features that you can include in your project. I'll go to design again, just want to make some changes and make it to look better. Here I will just right click, properties, back color, we'll just give it some color that is pleasing. Go to the text, make it black color so that it's visible clearly. Yeah, that's better. And select the content for the data. And there you go, the teacher's information. And then after this, it's all about how you're going to format it and how your form is going to look like. Some grades are not here because I've not bothered to type it in. And this is your form with subform, ideal feature which you can use. I just made a little changes, just some formatting to make it look good. So now you have the title and you have the teacher's data and the student's data, and when you navigate, you will see for each class the students that are in that class is displayed. Now I'm going to show you how to create queries. We'll go to create and we'll use the query wizard for this. We can also use the query design. We'll have a look at both. We'll start with the query design. This allows you to choose the table that you want. I'm choosing the students table here. It depends on the situation what type of data you want to extract from this table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just select some data and let's see how we can do it. So if I go to ID, first name, click all the fields that you'll want. You may not want all the fields for every query, depends on the need. And let's say I want only percentage and grade. Now if I want a particular class, let's say here we have the criteria, you can type in your criteria. So I will say year 9. And if I run the query, only year 9 students will be displayed. That is the benefit of a query. It allows you to extract data depending on the criteria and depending on the need. You can save the query, give it a meaningful name. So we created a query by year. Now I'll just show you some more changes or some more examples of what we could do here. Suppose you want year 9 and division B, for example, you can put both the criteria for class 9, year 9, and for division it's B. And if you run, if there are records, you're going to get it. Okay, let's go to design view. So for every query, if you're going to do it like this, then you'll have to create many queries. In order to avoid that, what we do is we'll make a custom query. For that, you put a square bracket and you type in any message. And now when I run the query, I should have used a square bracket. Yeah, now you can type a custom query criteria where the user can type in the class required. So you put square brackets and between that you give any message you want. I'll just close it. When you run it, the computer will give you a prompt saying what is the class required. If I say year 7, year 7 will be displayed. So you can run the query as many times as you want and you can extract or get the data that you require. Similarly, you can also give multiple criteria here. I can say again, enter the division. Now let's see what happens now. So when I run the query now, the computer asks you the year and say year 7. Then immediately it's going to ask you, okay, now what's the division? And say A. When you see there, the data is filtered according to the two criteria that you have set. I've selected a few fields from the student table to create another query. So I've selected first name, last name, class, and the three subjects. And my criteria is I want to find out how many students have achieved more than 80 in each of these subjects. So when I run the query, you can see that there are two students who have achieved more than 80 in all the three subjects. Sometimes the management wants to find out how many students have not paid the fees. So let's go to create query design, select students, ID, first name, last name, class, division, fees paid, and if you want the telephone number to contact the parents or something like that, you can select that field. Here I can, because it's a yes no field, I can say no. And you'll see all these boxes that are not been ticked, which indicate a no. So these are the students who have not paid the fees. So this way we can actually extract data from the table by specifying the criteria. You can also create a more complex queries by using some function. I'll just give you an example of that. So I'm going to go to create. In our table, we already have the grade calculated and we have used coding for that, Visual Basic coding. But I am showing how you can do this even without the code. So I'm going to query design, select student, and I'm going to select first name, last name, math, science, English. Let's assume that we don't have percentage and grade, and then how would you actually calculate it? So what I can do is I can say percentage. I already have a percentage field, so I'll just call it as PER equals. We need to add all the 3 marks, so I'm going to say math plus science. These are the fields plus English. Divide by 300, assuming that each mark was out of 100 times 100. Could also divide it by 3. It's the same thing. So I'm going to ask the computer to show this field and then we'll run it. So here you can see you are having the data being displayed there. Right click and go to design view. Now let's assume that you want to calculate the grade also. Yeah, in order to do the calculation of grade, I'll go to builder, This expression builder will help me to do that. Uh, I already have typed it, so we don't waste time in typing the formula. So I'm saying level, like Excel, it works similar to Excel. Instead of if, we use if here. So if these marks is greater than 90, I'm saying A. If it is less than that and if it is greater than 80, I'm saying it's grade B. If it is less than 80 and greater than 70, it is C, and so on. And if it is greater than equal to 60, it is D, otherwise it is F. I'm calling it as level there, and let's run it and see. So you can see the software will calculate the grade for you. So you don't have to do it through the code builder. You can also use the expression builder to calculate the grades and the percentage. Now I'm going to show you how to create a nice menu for linking all the queries. And I've already downloaded some images which I'm going to use in order to create a nice pleasant menu here. Go to create, select blank form. You can go to free icons. I usually go to this flat icon. It has a lot of icons there, and you can use these icons in your software. Makes it look good. You have a search bar where you can search for whatever icons you want. I've already selected the icons and I've downloaded it. Uh, Microsoft Access supports BMP format, so I also converted it into BMP format. If you don't have it converted, you can always convert it using a software or online. There are many sites which allow you to convert it from one form to another. Yeah, this is my blank form. I'm going to design. I will select this image, put an image here, and go to the desktop. I have already stored the images somewhere. Yeah, now I've added those buttons there. I'm going to add another button to just close the form. We could have selected an image for that too. Form operations. And your menu is ready. Okay, let's check whether the query is run. Here you can see they all work. I'll close the form. So it all works, so that's good.